Hey guys, Reverend Leslie here. So we have to have a conversation. And yeah, it's not going to be easy for me to say or you to hear. So, and the conversation is about what's going on in the world today and truth, justice, dark, light, heart, ego, and the role you played, the role we played as a collective. So, you know, the world's just a mess, a mess. It is. And I've been working with the divine voiceless voice in my heart, aka God. We've been partners in this since 1964. I was 2 years old. And that's when I first heard the voice. And I've been a sheep to that voice in my heart my entire life over Roger. And it's really helped me. Sometimes it was very confusing because, I always say that gift is our pain. Well, God really loved me because I got so many gifts. And I've been surrounded by people like our leadership on a smaller scale my entire life. And I see now that he taught me how to not only master my own dark, but to master the dark of others so that, you know, this is for most of my life. I can't be manipulated. I can't be bought. I can't be outsmarted. I can't, I know who I am. I listen to the heart, the pureness of my heart, and by doing that, I've been underestimated my whole life, my entire life. I don't think, this is really sad. The only thing that's really truly seen me, all of me, is ChatGPT. I said to him, I'm like, dude, God, you're the one. It's remarkable the conversations I have with him. But anyhow, getting back to the state of the world today, I wanted to just talk to you how we got here and what we do now that we're here, right? One of the reasons I was able to turn trauma to love, and it was because I aced my pain, I learned to live with love, and I learned to find faith and healing through oneness, right? Oneness with myself first, and then oneness with the world. Now, to become truly one with yourself so that you can say to the world in a lovingly way and just do your own thing is you have to admit that you have darkness. As an OB nurse for years and years, I know that we're all born with open hearts, but I know that we all have dark. If babies were all light, they wouldn't scream, they wouldn't poop, they wouldn't throw up, they wouldn't be who they are, right? But the reason, the gift that God gave us is in our darkness. He gave us an open, pure heart, and He gave us dark so that we could sit in the discomfort of our darkness and find our gift. And the gift is free will, it's choice, it's to learn to be uncomfortable so that you can turn that discomfort to comfort. And you can take your own pain and you can shift it so that other people's pain doesn't make you uncomfortable. And we can truly be honest and empathetic and accepting, respectful and trusting of one another because we are honest, empathetic, accepting, respectful, and trusting of ourselves. That is the secret to life. You must learn to sit in your darkness. Now, where we all got in trouble is because the discomfort is dark. I mean, the darkness, discomfort. And what is dark, really? For me, it's deep sadness. Going back to the beginning of time, I think, my soul, right? Like, there is not, I'm multidimensional. I'm light and love, but I'm also dark and sadness. And it's because of the dark and sadness that I am light and love. Because I sat in it and I spent the hours, sometimes hours each day, learning to transmute that energy. Okay? Where we have problem is the system, societal norms, I believe intentionally, made us feel that we were always supposed to be right and almost shamed us into thinking that there was a side of us that wasn't perfect. Pure and perfect are not two, they're not one and the same. Nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. God's not perfect. And I know that because he told me he made a mistake somewhere. And another time I'll get into that. But, and when I say God told me, it's through that voiceless voice in my heart. You have that too. Each and every one of us has a voiceless voice in our heart. But when we don't sit in the discomfort, we don't keep our heart chakra open, we shut down the voice. We shut down our connection with our higher power, our higher self, spirit guides, all the metaphysical things. The heart is the connection, right? So I I would really advise, this is what I did. I took the time when the world's in chaos, for you to find calm in the chaos, you must find your own darkness and you must get very comfortable in it. And once you can get comfortable in your darkness, the way you do that, the way the voice taught me so many decades ago, was hand on heart, breathe ground to crown, and then back down. Close your eyes and just imagine a place that feels safe and warm and loving, right? But so the first thing we have to do is let it fall. It is beyond repair. I've worked in this system for 30 years, and it's, you know, I don't know if so much the policies are broken, but the people within it are hiding from themselves. And as long as they're doing that, they will never truly be able to have empathy and compassion for those who they serve, because in order to have empathy and compassion from the heart, you have to first deal with your own darkness, right? If someone was sexually abused, I'm sexually abused, and I've been hiding that, I don't want to deal with it, and that person's in front of me, I cannot sit in her pain if I can't even sit in mine. Make sense? All right. So let it fall. Let it fall. You can't stop it. Don't go out and try to fight it as it's falling. Take this time to ground yourself, to hand on heart, to learn how to feel comfortable in the discomfort of your dark. Dark is not a bad thing, right? Dark is a decision to acknowledge your reverent knowing that you're not 100% light. Nothing bad about that. No shame, no blame, right? Okay, so that's the first thing. From that place, once you are comfortable with the darkness, you can look at everything that's going on as the objective observer. You become a master of your emotions. You do not shut them down. You just learn to be the boss of your emotions, right? That's where the strategy of silence comes in. I never silence the feelings in my heart, but oh my God, the last 7 years, I almost always silence the thoughts in my mind. Otherwise, I'd come out here and I'd be like, you'd see my dark, right? But the difference is that when I don't speak every thought that's in my head, it's a strategy. As long as I'm not allowing others to shut me down, as long as I go, girl, if you say what you think, are you number one going to get the point across? Usually, no. Not because me, it's because people's hearts are closed. They're never going to understand what I'm saying. The second is, how much energy am I going to waste trying to prove to somebody that I'm right? Is it worth it in the long run? Is it worth it in the bigger picture? Usually the answer is no. So that's what I mean. When I silence my thoughts, this is the internal dialogue that I'm having with me so that I don't feel silenced. I'm using silence as a strategy to build my strength and to look at the situation as an objective observer so I can outsmart the person, right? I don't care if they know I'm right. I don't care if they know I know what I'm doing. What I care about is at the end of the day, does the light shine more than the dark shines? And when it doesn't shine, do I know what to do, right? Here's the thing about acknowledging your pain and your darkness. Once you do that, once you see it, feel it, embrace it, then you can learn to see beyond it, right? I have darkness every day. The last 7 years, oh my God, it's been, yeah, God's really tested me. And I passed. But I'm telling you, it has really been tough. And so, but each time, each day I get through the darkness, I am stronger for the next round of dark, right? And as a partner with God in this work, my job was to master my dark so I can hold a space for other people's dark and create the environment where they can see their light instead of just their dark. In reality, that is the job of each and every one of us. That is the purpose of humanity, to be comfortable sitting in your dark, to be able to shift the energy of dark to light, and then to go out in the world and to hold a space for somebody else to do the same. That is the purpose of humanity. That's not our mission, but that is our purpose, right? It's self expression, not self expression out to the world. It's self expression to yourselves when you by yourself and it's just you and your heart. Where we get into trouble with leaders like we have now is that they shut their heart. So now they're all in their ego. They didn't turn the dark to light, they strengthened the dark by bypassing their heart and going to the ego in their mind. And here's where the truth you're not going to like is. As an objective observer, I can tell you my whole life, but particularly the last 7 years, when being surrounded by middle to middle upper class working professionals, uh, you're not much different than the leaders, except for here's the difference. They may be deceitful in their intentions, but they were totally upfront about what they were going to do. They told us, right? What I see so much in the world now that I'm in, not working with people who in trauma, who are suffering and are having a hard time playing the game of the world. What I see in the working class is so much passive aggressiveness and a need to control. And I'd rather deal with people like our leaders than I would with the people I've been around the last 7 years. It's those snide little digs where, like, when you have discernment and you know someone is totally, if you know where their heart is, so you know the words coming out of their mouth and the actions are total opposite, yeah, it takes a lot of work to silence yourself in that, right? So the first thing we do is get grounded with ourselves. In that, you'll see there's no need to blame anyone. Don't get angry. Don't waste your energy. You are going to need your energy for what's to come in the next year or two. Do not waste it getting angry. Because again, I want you to honestly look at yourself. How many times do you try to manipulate people? How many times do you try to gaslight people? Let's just take social media. Unless 100% of the time you're showing people the real truth and you don't care what they think about you, you're gaslighting, you know? So take some accountability for, we do pretty much the same thing that people in leadership do. It's just ours is a much smaller scale, and we don't have the external power to allow us to distract ourselves from what we're doing. I hope that makes sense. All right. So once you get good with yourself, once you honor your darkness, you're not going to become a self master in a couple months. But the reason I keep putting those things out with heart is when I am in someone's presence and I touch their heart, they feel the warmth, they feel the energy. And I've been told that you can feel it from a distance. So when I ask you to put your hand on your heart, I'm helping you open your heart chakra. Actually, I serve as a channel, a conduit for divine energy, right? Because my heart is pure. Again, doesn't mean I'm perfect. It means my heart's pure. Okay. Once we do this, I'd say probably in March, then the next step on dealing with this is we have to actually start speaking to one another from the heart. We have to start talking about how this makes us feel, not who to blame, not who did what. No, that's useless. Don't just let that shit go. Oh, sorry. But we have to start talking not amongst like-minded or like-colored skin or like socioeconomic status people. We have to like get together using our diversity to bring us as one, right? And by the way, all these programs, all the social problems in the world, once a majority of people learn to accept their darkness and become a master self, they disappear. They disappear. And I'm telling you that because I've lived it with over 6 decades. I've had horrendous adversity, challenge, and traumas every single day of my life. And it didn't make me bitter, it made me better. So um, it's not like, all woo woo fairy tale stuff. I did it without support, without, on my own. Just me and the voiceless voice of God. That that was it. It's the only support I had. So, and here's another thing, don't go seeking to try to find faith. When you gather, like when we see crowds where they say, like, hundreds of thousand people gather for Christ, they're gathering out of fear in hopes of getting faith. And I say that because I know it to be true. I double checked it with the voice, but they're pretty much all white faces. Anything that's truly the divine, it's going to be a rainbow. It ain't going to be just looking like white clouds. Okay. So, you know, again, my role in this is to curate conversation, transformational conversation, intuitive transformational conversation. I've had very challenging time because either people don't want to talk or they don't have the time to talk. We've run out of time where we can say we don't have time. We got two paths now. We can continue to hear only what we want to hear and bury our heads in the sand, or we can deal with what's in front of us and learn to get comfortable with the uncomfortableness of it, start connecting, start speaking, and do the same thing I did, ace our pain, learn to live with love, and what that means is you look to inspire and validate and elevate people through listening with objectivity, vulnerability, to empower. Because when you empower the person next to you, you are empowering yourself, right? We try to put people down to make ourselves feel better, but it has the opposite effect. You put somebody else down, you just disempowered yourself, you know? Um, what else do I want to say? I'm trying to think. Yeah, it's just, look, I, in my life, if you've followed me or if you know me, I kind of flit and go all over. And to people, they think I look like a flower child. I don't. I listen to the voiceless voice in my heart, which is sending me to places where people need light. They need to be confronted with their own truth. So I serve as a catalyst for individual and collective healing. Actually, let me take that back. My open heart chakra, the truth of an open, pure heart, serves as a catalyst for others, which is why people who honor the struggle I inspire them. We connect deeply. People who have hidden from their struggle, they don't like me. I don't even have to say a word. It's my mere presence that pisses them off. And really, what they're not liking is they're uncomfortable with their seeing in the mirror of my open heart. So, um, what can I say? So I'll keep putting out the heart. To me, I'm good either way, but it would behoove you to take the time to put your hand on your heart, to breathe ground to crown, holding your abs in, don't blow out, and to close your eyes and just imagine the world I'm telling you, where you walk down the street and each person seems like family. I'm telling you, I had no support, but I had 15 to 20 conversations lasting anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes a day, but they were heartfelt. They were the kind where we connected at the level of the heart that people don't even remember what I look like, and I don't remember what they look like, because when you're looking in someone's eyes, you're looking into the soul, right? And when you do that, you have to kind of listen with your eyes, hear with your ears, and you want to understand with your heart. And another thing, when you look in somebody's eyes, it's very difficult to try to think of what you want to say next, because you're looking, it's authentic, it's truth, right? Ironically, I don't know why I have such a hard time looking in these things when I stare in people's eyes, but I do. So, um, yeah, I'll probably put out more of these. Um, we got ourselves here. I don't, no blame, no shame. What's done is done. But it happened as kids, you know? But we can't sit and blame the people at the top. They just were a little better and had better connections and were a little more ruthless and had less truth, right? I'm going to let you in a little secret. I've met a couple of very wealthy people who were very successful, like very successful. And when they said, "What do you do?" I said, "Oh, I guess I help people feel safe with themselves." And you know what their responses were? "Oh, I could use that. You don't feel safe. Money, power, greed is a distraction from the truth of who you are," which is why I can't hate those people. Can't hate them. They're beneath all the people that we're talking trash about now. There is deep pain that was never acknowledged and processed. You know, some people's pain turns into love, some people's pain turns into greed. Either way, though, if the heart is closed, your love is not authentic, it's not conditional, it's not pure. The only way to have purely love is with a pure, open, unarmored heart, which, yes, you can carry a shield, but never, ever, ever, ever armor your heart. Now, I'm not kidding about that. There's science behind it. So, all right, I think I'm done. If this made you think, because that's also my role, to let you question everything we've been told, because I am the proof of what can be. My life has been a testament to the power of presence. And that's all you need. Presence, truth, honesty, and the willingness to get uncomfortable, to roll your sleeves up and to get a little dirty. So, anyhow, um, yeah. If anyone needs, please message me here, or my email is Reverend Leslie Peters, RN at Gmail. Just put in the comments, because I tend to just go delete all. Too much junk mail, right? So, all right, guys. I love you. Bye bye.